The Prusik knot or the Prusik knot. Hello everybody, welcome back, and today's little knot, lovely little knot this one, is the Prusik knot or the Prusik knot depending on how you pronounce it. And to be honest, it's a really simple little knot to learn, and basically what it does is it grips onto whatever it is wrapped around. So if I now pull up on this tight and then I pull it to the right like so, you can see that it is gripping really tight. And the whole idea of this is bushcrafters, they use this knot on their ridge lines to hold the tarp in place, because basically what you can do is you can slide it, as you can see, you can slide it up and down your ridge line as you want, but as soon as you put any tension on it, and that one as well, it then grips really tight. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you two ways of tying this. One is the loop method, where I've actually tied a loop into a rope, and then I'm going to show you how to tie it on the end of a rope with a figure of 8 knot combination in there as well. And for those of you who are really interested in this knot, I believe rock climbers use it a lot. It's a very secure knot, and if you look up on YouTube, look up videos on the Prusik knot itself, and you will see rock climbers using this to hold themselves as they climb a rope using, I believe, three of these knots, three of the Prusik knots, and they can actually climb a rope very securely doing that. But check that out. You know, and once again, when it comes to safety, do all your research on it, because I can't guarantee I'm 100% right, because I'm still learning all these knots myself. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to undo this little setup here, and then I'll show you how to tie two versions of the Prusik knot here. Okay, so I will be back in a second, so let's get knotting. Right. So the first method that we're going to do is the loop method, and what I'm first of all going to do is I'm going to tie myself a loop in my cordage here. Now obviously if you're a bushcrafter you would be tying this in paracord, so you would have smaller loops, but I'm doing this for this size so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to allow both my ends to cross each other at this point. And then the next thing I'm going to do is into this I am going to tie a fisherman's or a double fisherman's knot. I prefer the double fisherman's knot because it's a little bit more secure. And what I'm doing now is I'm crossing the lines over, and then I am now taking my working end on the left hand side here, and I'm going to wrap it over itself like so, take it round once, take it round a second time like so, and then tuck it through itself, those two loops that you've created there, tuck them through, and then just gently pull them up. You don't need to pull them up too tight because you might want to adjust it to start with. So now that I've done that, I'm going to do exactly the same with this working end here. So just pull a bit through, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cord over everything, take it round once, and then take it round a second time, and then you can see there I've got my finger through those two loops there. All I'm going to do is bring up the working end and pass it in through like so, and there we have it. We now have the double fisherman's bend. Now what I'm going to do is just adjust it slightly so that it's even, and then just adjust it like so, pull up the excess, there we go, and now as I pull that together, those two knots are pushing up against each other, and the tighter I pull on that, the tighter that those particular knots are going to pull up together. But you can move it apart like so. Not sure why you'd want to, because what we're doing is we're actually creating a loop in our rope. Okay, so now that we've done that, the next thing that I'm going to do is, let's imagine this here is my ridge line for my tarpaulin, and the next thing that I'm going to do is all I'm going to do is take hold of the cordage, and I'm going to pass it over like so, and then under. And so you can see what's happening here. And what I'm doing is, as I'm doing it, I'm keeping this knot slightly off center. And so we've gone over, and through itself. So let me show you that again. So I'm taking my knotted end here, I'm passing it over my ridge line, taking it under my ridge line, but over the initial cord itself. So I've taken it over once, and you can see there I'm holding it just off center, so the knot is just above my right hand here, and I'm going to do it a second time and take it round and pass it through everything again. Now, the more turns you do, the more grip this will have, and I've got room on here for another turn around my ridge line or pretend ridge line. So take it round like so, and then pull it up. And now the thing is, when you pull it up, what you want to do is just make sure that none of the lines are crossing here. So I just pull it up like so, and you can see now it's crossed nicely, or there's no crossings here. But if I just turn that a little, you'll see here that I've got a nice, straight, happy, smiley face line there. And now that is my Prusik or Pusik knot in place, and then I can hang weight off this, and if I hang something off this on the ridge line, that is not going to move left or right because the weight is actually causing friction on here, and it's not going to move left or right. But if I take the weight off it, just with a couple of fingers, I can slide it along my ridge line to the position I want. So you can either hang stuff off your ridge line to keep it in one place, or if, say for example, you have your tarpaulin then attached to this piece of cordage here, you can move it along your ridge line and eventually it will become tight. And I'll just put some more pressure on that, that's it, becomes tight, and then the harder I pull it, the more that this Prusik knot is actually gripping on the ridge line here, and so it's fully adjustable. So if, say for example, your ridge line, or let's say the tarpaulin's become a bit slack against your ridge line, what you can do is just move it up. Move it up in one direction, see that was hard to move then, or to slacken it off, put it like that. And so there we have it, that is the Prusik knot using the loop method. And don't forget, when you're tying this, what you're looking for is a nice smiley face across the top there, and none of the lines crossing, and then you have yourself the perfect Prusik knot. So anyway, I'll untie this, and now I'll show you the rope end method in conjunction with the figure of 8 knot. Right, so here we have the end of my rope, and what I need to do now is to tie this particular Prusik knot in the end of a rope. The first thing I need to do is stretch my arms out like so, and you'll see that I've got quite a bit of cordage. What I've done is I've stretched both arms out, and I've got quite a bit of cordage that I need to use at this end here. The next thing that I'm going to do is, in this end, on the standing end of my rope, I'm going to tie a figure of 8 knot. So all I'm going to do is take my working end, it's a long working end this one, but I'm going to take it over the rope like so, and then get hold of that working end, and then what I do is I pass it so my working end is now going round over the standing end, and there's my working end there. The next thing I do is pass my working end back underneath the standing end like so, pull through the excess, and you can see here now that what we've got appearing here is the figure of 8. But it's not locked yet, because the next thing I want to do is just get hold of my working end and pass it back down through that loop there, take through the excess. Now we need quite a bit on this, so don't worry about it. Take through the excess, and there we go. We've now got the figure of 8 knot in our line. So the next thing is I'm going to bring into play, imagine this is a piece of rope or something that you want to attach your Prusik knot to, and what I do is I hold the figure of 8 in my hand there, and my working end, the next thing I do is just wrap it around my rope or stanchion or ridge line like so, and then that's once. I go round a second time like so, and then I'm going to take it over a third time like so. So we've seen here now that I've gone over working to the right hand side. The next thing that I do is I pass the working end over my standing end there, so still holding on to the figure of 8 loop there. And the next thing I do is I pass the working end up around my ridgeline, rope, stanchion, whatever you want, and take it down underneath that bit there. So as you can see here now, let's show you that again. What I'm doing is I'm coming from this side here, crossing over my standing end, and then bring my working end up round and then down underneath my standing end like so. And just pull it up a bit, get rid of some of that slack. So pull it through once, then take it around again, take it round the back, up, down, down through my standing end there. This is where we're creating our smiley face. And then finally, for the last time, because we did 3 on that side, we want 3 on this side here. I'm just going to go round one more time, bring it up round, and then take it down underneath like so. And you can see here now that as I pull up on this, it's all nice and even. So as I pull up on this, all nice and even, and our smiley face is running across our cord like so. So nothing's crossed over, everything's nice and easy, even, and what I can do now is just pull that up tight. So what I'm going to do now is just push that out the way, and so my working end is coming from here, it's coming down parallel to my standing end, and then the next thing we want to do is bring it back into my figure of 8 loop. And what I'm going to do is just adjust my loop up slightly. You can adjust it, and there we go. Just adjust it up slightly, bring it up a bit closer. And the next thing I'm going to do is take my working end that's not attached to anything yet, is just bring it up alongside my standing end within the figure of 8 and just follow it round. So it's going round there. So the next thing I need to do is follow it underneath my standing end like so, bring it up round, underneath itself there like so, and then bring it over, round, and then take it underneath through the loop so it's parallel. So just take it so it's all parallel, nothing crossing over, and then there we go. And we now have our figure of 8 tied in there. And so now when I pull on this, so if we bring this back into view here now, if I now pull on this, you can see it's spreading out slightly, but it's gripping like mad. And I can promise you this is very slippery because it was once polished, and it's a slippery rope as well, but it is holding tight. And so there we have it. We have the Prusik knot using the figure of 8 in conjunction with the figure of 8 knot here. So if you want to try a Prusik knot in the end of the line, this is the one you use. And if you want to, as a bushcrafter, I would make up lots of these loops so that you can just attach your Prusik knots wherever you want. So anyway, once again, thanks very much for watching. Thumbs up, thumbs down, but hey, leave me a comment and tell me where you use the Prusik knot, because that would be interesting to know. So once again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.